What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of Nasdaq 100 weekly highs, weekly lows, technical analysis video. I hope you guys have had an amazing week with your trades just gone, right? And we're just going to get into the business of where we think market is going to go this week, commencing Monday, the 19th of August. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the vertical lines, and then we're just going to separate the previous weeks. Okay, so we've got it here. Okay, and as you would have noticed as well, I've removed all of the previous vertical lines just because it was just getting a bit too much. So last week's analysis, what we used to navigate the market, weekly high been taken out over here. Okay, and this week we're going to figure out what's going on here, and then we're going to use that to help us with next week's technical analysis. All right. Okay, so let me just bring in another vertical line, because market is going to be opening up in the next few hours, so around 11 p.m. today UK time, and we kind of need to have an idea as to what we need to be looking out for before anything takes place in regards to what market is going to do. So let's get rid of all the unnecessary levels that we had before, right? Because at this point in the game, if you've been following this channel for any period of time, you know exactly what kind of work we do and how we do it. So I want to do a bit of a cleanup, just adjust the levels a little bit, just to make sure that everything kind of makes sense. And at this point right now, due to the change that we had up here, I think this whole thing needs to be rejigged a little bit more. So let's just get rid of this for now. Let's get rid of this for now. And then let's have a look to see if this is actually telling any type of story that could help us moving forward. So as it stands right now, nothing really pops out in front of me. Let me just have a quick look. Let's just do this and let's just see what we get. So at this point, I could entertain this concept as a possible trend, so an ascending channel. So we're just going to work with this one for now. Let's go back to the 1 hour. Go back to the 1 hour, and we can see where price is. So with that said, let's now look into the work of what's kind of taking place. So we know that the weekly low was set for us on a Monday. So that's that right here. Let me add weekly low to that. Just assign a label. And the weekly high was set for us on a Friday. So next week, it is fair to assume that Monday's opening is going to be at a high point, which essentially means we need to bear in mind the possibility that we may need to have the market may give us some form of a pullback. Now I'm going to explain that in greater detail in just a short moment, but first things first, I just want to mention out the key levels we want to keep an eye on. So on the low side, weekly low, we're looking at 18440.9. that's this level right here, right? And then on the high side, this level right here, we're looking at 19592.5. So these are the two levels that we're looking at to see if price is going to do anything, i.e. take this one out or possibly take this one out, right? So first things first, what's going on in this area? Why I think there is a possibility that price may be pulling back down. It is quite obvious if you've been in this game for any period of time, which is that we have a resistance level right here. So the resistance level is covering a nice little zone, okay? And as you can see, price has gone back into it again, right? And I would be expecting some form of consolidation to be taking place in this zone before we get a push to the downside. So essentially, it's going to test this level. So it's tested this level, it's come back down, it's gone back into it again. Will it come back down from it, and will it test it one more time, or will it blast through? These are the things we're waiting for, and the indicator that I will use to help me to decide what I am going to do is the weekly highs and the weekly lows. So there's a weekly high right here. Now on a Monday, it is fair to assume, okay, that we may get some kind of retracement all the way back down again, right? That is definitely is a possibility. And if that turns out to be the case, then it's fair to assume that it may come back down to this zone right here. This zone right here, okay? Now, this zone in itself, right, will act as a support for market to come back down to, right? But however, will it do it? Only time will tell. And if it does do it, okay, then essentially, and it retraces back from this level, then it's fair to assume that this entire area over here will become some kind of a range, all right? And we've already got the markers to help us navigate this whole situation. So for example, if you was to apply a fib to these levels alone, okay, it's fair to assume that the weekly low is going to be at the 50% level. And you would say, okay, you're just assuming that. Well, let's just apply a fib to that right now, right? Let's just apply a fib to that now. So this is a custom fib that I've kind of put together, but however, we're not going to be using that one. We're just going to use okay, we're just going to use just a standard default fib. And let's just get rid of all of the unnecessary levels. So let's just get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. So we're just going to keep the 0 and the 100%. Let's get rid of background colors. Apply. Okay, and just like I said, so on this level right here, which is the 50% zone of the fib, okay, if price comes down and closes below this level, I would say you could take on the assumption that this is a possible range. You could catch it from this level, ride it all the way down, make sure you hop off at this level right here, okay, and then just wait to see what price does after. If price continues to push down, then ultimately you may choose to obviously add more on. Once it gets below the buy side level, which is 167.0, which is this level, once it which is this level right here, once it closes below that, it is fair to assume that it's going to be dropping down lower. Now remember, with the shape that we have of this overall trend, it is an ascending channel, so it could easily break through and fly all the way down. That is a possibility, and that is something that we want to keep that's something that we want to keep our eye on, right? So looking at this chart as it stands right now, okay, my recommendation will be this level right here, okay, has a high probability that price will be pulling down from it. It has a high probability that price will be pulling down from it, and you need to bear that in mind as you are obviously navigating the market. And my recommendation to you would be, and bearing in mind, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not giving you financial advice, okay, it's next week you would want to see, okay, especially on a Monday, you would want to see if this level right here gets taken out, right? If this level right here gets taken out, which is going to be the low of the Friday, all right, it's fair to assume that it's going to be moving away from this level. It's not 100% guaranteed. It's important that you bear that in mind. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it is fair to assume that it is moving away from this resistance level up here if it closes below this level. And all it is you can do is you can make one or two decisions. Either A, you join it immediately to sell to the downside, okay, and if you do decide to do that, you would need to cover this top here as a stop, or you could wait to see if you get a retracement back to the upside. If you do get a retracement back to the upside, you can then obviously join it at that level and then obviously cover the tops, and bearing in mind your risk will be a lot lower than it would be if you took it directly underneath this level over here, which would be 19353.0, right? So that would be my recommendation on that as well. Okay, now if you're also thinking about understanding how it is that I do what it is that I do, okay, the next video after this will have a back testing video as well as the previous week's video. So the previous week's video will give you an understanding as to how we are not tracking the market movements and making decisions based on that, and the back testing videos, which are 21 in total, that will also give you understanding as to the types of strategies that I use and to navigate the market. So essentially what I basically do is I have put together a whole series of strategies that I believe work, and I've put it into one package, and I've broken it down into its basic format, which is weekly highs, weekly lows, and I use that to navigate the market. Those 21 videos will definitely help you understand all of that. And with that covered, make sure you check it out.